Outstanding. So this is the fire weather briefing for today, which is Thursday, August 14th, 2025. You have Miranda over in Spokane on the east side, and I am Matthew leading the call here from Seattle. Getting started, we'll look at this current satellite imagery here, and we see that there is a big disturbance out over the Pacific with a good fetch of moisture. You see those clouds showing up in the white color and gray color across the ocean there. That will be our next weather maker that will really change the pattern here across the Pacific Northwest in the next couple of days. So we'll dive more into that. But closer to home, too, I did want to highlight this big push of marine clouds into the west side, some high clouds across on the east side, but also the smoke that was evident. You know, some of that showing up there on the west side. It's being masked by some of the stratus that we see in place by much of the stratus, but some of that smoke did pass across the area on the east side as well yesterday, and even still some evident there on satellite today. But we'll jump right into the fire weather summary matrix here. We'll start with Western Washington for the week, and we've gone low all week this week. The big story for us from a fire weather standpoint will be the heavier rain that will be arriving Friday and Saturday. Virtually a slam dunk wetting rain across the area, to say the least. Some very heavy rain is likely across much of the region, especially in the mountains. That'll be the big story for us. A very, very small chance of a thunderstorm on the west side on Saturday in the showers that develop or possibly even a convergence zone behind the main frontal system. But the confidence in seeing that remains pretty low. The likelihood's only about a 10% chance here on the west side for most areas. Otherwise, a little bit of wind that will pick up ahead of that frontal system on Friday, tomorrow. But that would be the biggest thing. Certainly, the good soaking rain is the expectation here across the west side. Now, for the next two lines, I'll toss it over to Miranda.
All right, on the east side, today is going to be cooler, and then we have that, as I said, the next system approaching to start to bring some shower thunderstorm chances into the area tomorrow. But the better chances come on Saturday. A little bit better chance here than on the west side for some thunderstorms. And it starts to shift out a little bit as we go into Sunday, with the better chances shifting to the panhandle. And as we head into Monday, there's still some lingering shower chances, maybe some thunderstorms, but there's less confidence in the details out there.
Great. And we'll move on to the next tab here. And hazards, I'll just show quickly that there are a few air quality alerts, one on the west side, Mason County, and one in North Idaho. So on to the weather. As we said, cooler across the board, across the state, as well as in North Idaho today than what we've seen. And minimum RHs today, on the west side, fairly modest, really no concerning values, down to the 20s across the east side today. And this is really the run up and the lead in to this next weather system that we've been talking about. Getting into day two here, we'll now show Friday. Again, very cool, especially here on the west side, topping out only in the 60s. And temperatures mostly in the upper 70s and up to the mid 80s across the eastern portions of Washington, warmest there across the southeast portion of the state. And looking at those minimum RHs, we see the humidities come way up with that heavy rain arriving here on the west side. And even those min RHs much more humid there on the east side as well. So as we did allude to, there will be some wind coming up here with this system too. So I did want to quickly show for Friday here, especially the gusts. You see those gusts in that 25 to 30 mile per hour range with the southerly wind ahead of the that frontal system. As that front pushes through, you'll see some of those southeast winds pick up across the east side through the gaps and across eastern Washington as well, with those speeds peaking out around 25 miles per hour in many locations. The chance of wetting rain here, and we'll get into the QPF next, but I'll show this as a little tease that almost a sure thing across much of the west side of the state. So definitely somewhat unusual and a welcome sight to help get some moisture down across this side of the state. Getting at the prop thunder here. So the first panel is getting into the morning. Again, not expecting a lot of activity there. The chances do increase a little bit on Friday, but more significantly as we get into day 3, which I will show next. And here, looking at the prop thunder here for the Friday night and certainly into Saturday, the right-hand panel here is 11 a.m. through 11 p.m. during the day on Saturday. And you see there are some non-zero chances across the west side, but mostly around the 10% getting up to maybe 15% in the far north and east corners of Western Washington up in the North Cascades. But as we look eastward, we do see those higher chances getting into the 20 to 30% chance across northeastern Washington and the Idaho Panhandle. Miranda, anything you'd like to add here at this point?
Nope, not right now.
Okay, perfect. So we'll go ahead and jump forward and just showing the QPF. And really what I wanted to show here is that there's not a lot of difference between the day 1 through 3, which I am now showing here, and the day 1 through 7. So my point in showing that is that it's basically all going to fall within, really, it's a 48-hour time period, Friday into Saturday, across most of the area, with the addition of some additional rainfall from those thunderstorms that could develop across the far northeastern Washington and North Idaho. But looking at these amounts, it is rather impressive that we're going to see near the coast in the Olympics and in the Cascades upwards of 3 to 4 inches of rain in this basically 2-day time period. Even in the lowlands, where we will be shadowed to a degree, still seeing in excess of at least 3/4 of an inch, if not 1 inch, for most of the interior lowlands of Western Washington. And we won't leave out the rest of the state either. You see the map is painted across the state at this point with at least some rain chances. And again, I'll step through the timing here and we'll go through the trends to speak more specifically. But day 1, you see this first round just as the front, and that this weather system approaches the coastline, starts pushing inland. But day 2, getting into Friday night, this is going to be the bulk of the moisture here on the west side. And then day 3, kind of the lingering amounts in the mountains and the Cascades, and then across the eastern Washington, northeastern Washington, North Idaho, getting into day 3. So this really will be the bulk of the action for the next several days and the main focus of conditions. So that said, we'll go to trends, and let's go to we'll go up to Marble Mount today, up in 656. And we've really hit on a lot of the highlights already here, so I won't say too much more other than to say temperatures cooler for a couple days and then pretty flat, maybe a return to more normal conditions towards the middle and end of next week. Temperatures start to pick back up. RHs come back down a little bit. In the short term, though, that's really all I want to say about that, because the rain is the big story here. And then for the east side, let's do Spokane. And Miranda, go ahead.
All right, on the east side, we do see, temperatures remaining near to slightly below normal, and then we start to really moisten up as we go into the end of the week, into this weekend. RHs are really pretty high, especially even the minimum RHs are in the mid 50s or so in Spokane. Then it starts to dry out after that. A little bit of blips in the winds in there occasionally, and then we see the increasing precipitation chances spiking on late Friday night into Saturday. And you see the little blip around Monday, that next potential there, not as significant, but indeed a very moist system coming in compared to what typically we see for this time of the year.
Excellent. So we'll move on here to the 8 to 14-day outlook for what comes beyond this next 7 days. And we do see that above normal temperatures are favored here across our part of the country for sure. And looking at precipitation, the odds would favor below normal precipitation. So perhaps a return to a more typical pattern for mid to late August as we get beyond the next 7 days. So with that said, I will put this up here to remind everyone that the briefing and all of the other resources are available on the Fire Weather dashboard at this URL. And before we stop the recording, I forgot to read the disclosure at the start, so I should probably go back and do that just to be complete. And as a reminder, this meeting was being recorded, and by joining and participating in this session, that consent is being given to the recording. So please keep your cameras off, as you all did per the NOAA Privacy Act statement. So at that time, Miranda, if you want to stop the recording.